welcome duelists to the live. Welcome duelists to the live stream of live coverage of Ghent. Oh, this is so cool. This is so energetic. Top 32 being played on the feature match area. Yo, you guys are ready? Let's get it. So, make a warm welcome for Simon. Come on in, come on in, come on in. So, you know, you've been, I was talking to you about this before, that you took a bit of a break from Yu-Gi-Oh for a little bit, a tiny bit, but you know, you're back. I think your first return back was at YCS Utrecht, wasn't it? How was that experience being back after that hiatus?
I did the worst in Utrecht in any event I have ever done. It was very hard, like adjusting to all the changes.
Okay, so then, you know, just come back, making top 32 of this YCS, making a run of it, showing them, hey, you know what, I've been out for a while, but you know, you'll remember me. I was here. But I like that, man. That's pretty awesome. Like, how do you think the deck that you've chosen would have taken you this far?
Because I've played it for quite a long time, and it's a very stable deck. It's a very balanced deck, and yeah.
Okay, so I hope you had a little bit of fun. Did you enjoy the venue? Did you like, hopefully, most of the aspects of it?
Yes. I'm just going to leave it out. Yes. Okay. The venue's fine. I mean, it's okay to get to. They're pretty much the same, like, all the venues, so it's, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, Simon, you can take a seat. Thank you, man. And then, give a warm welcome to Matteo. Hey man, what up, what up, what up? Like, how are you feeling now? You've been, been on the world stage before. You've been a world competitor before. What do you think? Being top in this YCS, maybe hopefully getting some points if you make it to top 4 slots and stuff. Do you think you want to make that push again? Do you want to make that run?
I hope to have more time than last year to play. So I really enjoy this tournament, but I really hope to make point to the Worlds, for the Worlds.
Okay, so he's going to make a gun for it again. That's pretty good, man. Do you think the deck that you've chosen to play today, you make it top 32, obviously you probably make a good choice, but do you think that you will take it? Do you think that this might be Matteo's run?
I don't really feel so confident with this deck, but I think this is the best one, so I really hope for this game.
Okay, so, a bit nervous, a bit...
Yeah, a little bit nervous.
Okay, so even somebody who's been playing as long as he has, been topping as much as he has, still has a bit of jitters. So then, that's pretty cool. Everybody who has that sometimes can persevere and push through. So you can take a seat, man. So first we're going to be deciding who goes first. So 6 was tossed by Simon and a 2 by Matteo. So Simon is going first. Now, without further ado, duelists are ready. You guys are ready. This is top 32. Let's go to the casters.
Welcome to the top 32 of YCS Ghent. It all comes down to this. I'm here with Berto Marazzi, familiar face.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here. It's a huge pleasure from being here and commenting this top 32 is going to be really huge.
Yeah, for anyone wondering, we had this same team for Italian National this year, so you can always go back and watch all of the action that we had. But for this event, we had over almost 1,800 players, but it'll come down to this. 32 remains, and they're gonna fight against each other to claim the title of first YCF's champion of the season. But before jumping into this match in particular, we want to go back and see what the deck and at least the country breakdown looked at the beginning of the event. So I'm going to bring it up for you guys on the screen. So on round 1, as you can see, Germany basically dominated the chart. No surprise, it's always one of the most represented countries, but France.
Yeah, also we have seen that this year France had huge numbers, so I'm not surprised at all. And yeah, I mean, like, it's taking a huge lead. And
Yeah, it was definitely one of the countries that represented the most Yu-Gi-Oh! This year. We had, once more, as a reminder, a full French final at the European Championship. We saw how successful the community is with both influencers and players today. But guys, you've all been waiting for this. Let's jump to the country breakdown for top 32. So there he goes. Germany still standing first, but we have to be proud.
yeah, I mean, I'm so surprised because like not many Italian players were around one, as we have seen previously, like 121, and now
Yeah.
only. I mean, like Germany players were a lot, and Italy, as we can see, I mean, is
And to be
actually
honest, yeah.
playing this spot against the Germany. So
Exactly.
well
So
done.
very impressive. Also to the United Kingdom and France. I'm so sorry. Like, we were talking so well about you, but it's completely disappeared. And such a shame. It was basically 400 players, but. I gotta give credits to the other countries. In particular, talking about ours, I have to admit that the last season wasn't that bright for Italy. Italian players were not shining at the World Championship either. We had no Italians there, but maybe they can try and take it back because, as we know, they are among the best countries.
Yeah,
and
hopefully, yeah, why not? I mean, this is the first YCS of the season, so hopefully an Italia will take it home.
Exactly, but if the country breakdown is interesting, the deck breakdown, of course, it's even more. For round one, this is what the situation looked.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so surprised because like Sky Striker was so popular, and I thought Orcust players were more than the Sky Striker ones. So, well, I mean, again, Salomon Great was really popular this weekend, something that I was not expecting, and a lot of people decided to rely on True Draco as well, and. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those decks that never disappear.
Overall, the other category as well, being with 700 and more players, really show you that this YCS, as always, the YCS in August or September is the one that's the newest. So you have new Forbidden Lists, you have new cards, so it doesn't surprise me that you see a lot of different decks because people just tend to play what they're more comfortable with. But now, all that you're waiting for, let's see what the final decks for this event are. There it is, so a lot of different decks again.
Yeah, there are a lot, and what surprised me the most when I saw this list was the only Spiral player, which is like huge. But yeah, I mean, like, again, no surprises for me. I mean, Orcus was one of the most played decks so far as Sky Striker, so I mean, what is your pick for this tournament?
I mean, when they asked me at the beginning, it was Lunalight Orcust, and I gotta say 5 out of 32 is still a pretty good conversion rate, considering, and we actually have one for you guys this round, because Matteo is playing Lunalight Orcust, my personal favorite for the event. We see there are still many decks, as later on in the day we will be able to tell you guys what even all the other decks are, but just before we jump into the match, what is your favorite deck for this event?
So my pick for this event is Sky Striker, hopefully.
Okay.
I was playing in this event, but unfortunately I was kicked out yesterday. So
no surprise there. But yeah, at least you're here and you're able to do commentary with us, but you spoiled it. It's my pick, Lunalight Orcus for Matteo, against your pick, Simon, with Sky Striker. Both familiar plays, both players that have topped and got so far, with Matteo being a world competitor. It comes down to this, really. Who is going to advance to the top 16? Let's go to the table and find out. Okay, so the die roll was definitely important.
Yeah,
Simon
it was
won
super
it.
important, and let's see how Simon. Okay, it goes with reinforcement. I mean, like in this matchup, the dice roll is really important because like the Lunalight has a huge advantage going first by the moment that I mean we can see, as I was saying, Matteo has an Imperial Order,
Yes.
and we can see how important was the dice roll, but. Maybe Simon will have a lot of troubles in this game because of the Imperial Order, so let's see.
These reviews are going to be important, and just like you were mentioning, Lunalight is very cool because he can actually search for the Imperial Order or the epidemic virus, but Matteo actually outdraw it, which is going to be so huge in this particular matchup.
Yeah, this is going to be quite relevant, and Simon will have a hard time dealing with it.
So looking at the hands, who do you think is favoriting in this game one?
Looking at the hands, I mean, Simon has a start on there, nothing that special. He has like the standard combo Shizuku searching one in the end phase, but it's not that great because he doesn't have any interruption except for the Widow Anchor. And on the other side, Matteo has an okay hand.
Yeah.
But I think Matteo is favorite. Just
It's,
because of the Imperial Order.
The Imperial Order is definitely going to be important because, to be honest, I think Matteo draw is going to be very relevant because right now his hand is looking kind of shaky. He needs to pick up something, and the Goods is such a good draw here.
Yeah, Goods is really good in this moment. And, I mean, he can for sure play around the Widow Anchor, and it's not going to be that relevant.
Yeah, unfortunately, like well played by Simon on like setting 3. Although from our vision, we can tell you guys that there is only one relevant back row, which is the Widow Anchor. The rest are really bluffs from Simon, and I don't think Matteo is really gonna fall for it.
Yeah, I don't think Matteo. I mean, he maybe want to see if Simon has other response here rather than the Widow Anchor. Do you think Simon will wait till Matteo goes for the combo?
I mean, I feel like the biggest merit of like setting here is that the Lunalight deck has a lot of disruption. So you can go for Nightmare Phoenix, Tornado. So it both has the merit of like not finding the good one, and at the same time you make your opponent send like the spells to grave, so you get to free spells.
Do you think in the Lunalight is better the combo with Imperial Order or the Virus? By the moment that Matteo is just playing the Imperial Order and the...
I think it's close, but to be fair, I think Matteo is one of the first players we've seen with Imperial.
Yeah.
I feel like Virus is safer because in such a large event, you don't know, you might be playing against, like we've seen Paleo, Altergeist, and just having the option of calling traps with the Virus, I feel like it's important.
Yeah, yesterday I played against Lunalight and I got like destroyed by the Virus. So it's one of those cards that really count a lot in this format.
Yeah, and it's also like not really counterable because the Imperial Order, as we can see, Simon is maining Cosmic Cyclones, so there is a chance that you have the out for the Imperial Order while Virus is just there. You have to hope.
Yeah, it's just safer. It's just safer than the other one. Yeah, but anyway, Matteo is just going for combo. Yeah.
Do you think? Yeah, I was about to ask. There was an option of going for Azathoth, but you don't really expect many entrops in Sky Striker, right?
So now Matteo really needs to hit the anchor, and it will be huge.
Yeah. Let's see if he can, though. If he doesn't, it's gonna be.
Yeah, if he doesn't, it's gonna be quite. It's gonna be quite difficult for him because on one hand.
Simon just wants to make sure, and let's see. So can he get the Widow Anchor? I don't think that was it. Let's see. No. Yeah, it was the worst one of all. Hercules base, which now is gonna send back the Ayate in the extra deck.
Yeah, well played by Simon.
Yeah, it isn't obvious. Like maybe like the average player would just set 1 or even 2 cards, but it does make sense to set all of them.
Okay, so now Matteo's gonna activate the Tiger to special summon from the graveyard the chick. The Widow Anchor will cause him some trouble.
Yeah. So as you were saying, your pick for the event was also Sky Striker. And if I'm not wrong, you were also going first as Simon.
Yeah, my list is pretty similar to Simon's one.
I
mean, like, I decided to go first because, like, the problem in this format was that against this kind of decks like Lunalight and Orcust, you are not in a good position going second. That's why we decided to pick up this deck and playing cards that were good also in the mirror match, because the mirror match is super complicated and also you have to play with the time. So you have to be careful about that. And also, as you said before, Simon is playing the Cosmic Cyclone in main deck, which is huge because going second is good anyway against those kind of decks, and also is good against the Imperial Order by the moment that everybody is playing the combo.
Here, let me stop you for a second because the Phoenix hit the burner, which means that now the Widow Anchor is still safe
and Simon
with
has
3 spells. Yeah.
This is huge, quite unfortunate, and Matteo now will have some troubles, and it's true that he has the Imperial Order, but in this moment he knows that the Mermaid won't be able to special summon and continue. Let's see if he has something else to do before going for it.
Yeah, he would have the option to go into Mermaid, but he's not forced to. It seems like he's considering more the Nightmare. And at the same time, now he has full information. He knows that the last card is for sure with the Widow Anchor. Can he find a way to play around it, though? So
I mean, in my opinion, even though Simon has the Widow Anchor to stop Matteo, I think Matteo is sitting in a better position than him just because of the Imperial Order. So, like, in this game, I think Matteo has a chance to win.
yeah, it's gonna be closer than we thought, to be fair. And you gotta give credit one more to Simon, because if he didn't set both of his cards, then this game would have been over like by minutes. Well, now he's actually not in the bad of a spot. So
Yeah, and also with the 3 spells in the grave, he's actually countering Matteo combo. So let's see right now what he comes.
So the option, so he kept the goal by the grave. Maybe he was afraid of a possible
Hand
hand trap
trap,
from Simon. And to be fair, like even though the stage is like pretty much at the end, you don't always get to know like your opponent deck list card by card. And wow, it just goes into the battle phase.
Okay, let's see if he declares something else like the battle step to activate the Call by the Grave or not.
It seems like he's gonna just use the Call by the Grave on the Ray, which is pretty good because at that point he knows that the other cards from Simon should be spells.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him, there is another Ray in Simon's hand because even though he opened with the reinforcement, ER drew a second copy. So I don't think Simon really cares about this. So
No, not really. So I was saying before, this Sky Striker deck was a really good choice for this format, and Simon decided to go first, which is quite huge for that. And a card that he didn't draw was that There Can Only Be One was a really good card in Simon's deck.
I'm not sure. I'm not really sold on Sky Striker going first. Like I do see the point, but especially with the new limitation of multi-roll, I'm really skeptic that the deck is able. And you can see here, like Simon had to actually win a 50-50 and a 1-in-3 of his Widow Anchor remaining there, and that doesn't seem like a very. I mean.
Yeah, you really
Good
have to be careful
option,
with.
yeah.
You really have to be careful with your options, because once you're done with the multi-roll, and if your opponent has a resource to stop it,
Yeah.
you are not able to continue anymore. And especially in the mirror match, the multi-roll is super relevant. Indeed, the Cosmic Cyclone is one of those cards that really shuts down the match.
Yeah, the thing is, when you go second, Sky Striker is usually one of the better decks because of its consistency. You can always use Ayate and send engage, and then you have access to the whole engine. If you're going first, it's usually either an incredible end or like very support.
Yeah, it's like 50-50, but one of the aspects that I consider was like if you go first, you have more advantage against the average deck, but against Lunalight is super relevant going first. But let's see if Simon picked up something for the Imperial Order. Otherwise, it would be in trouble.
Absolutely. So now the Imperial Order will come down.
Yeah,
Simon
this is huge.
Having flashbacks, because to be fair, the last time we saw him on stream was against Federico Mecozzi back in YCS Milan, and he always also lost to the Imperial Order that way. So
this is so unfortunate for him, because in this moment he doesn't have any response, and that Imperial Order will cost him
a lot. Yeah. Very tough. You don't want to be Simon here. He has to find a way to fight this, but
yeah, this is going to be quite complicated because Simon needs to survive a turn, and then the turn after needs to get rid of the Imperial Order with the Phoenix.
And I'm honestly surprised because, like, didn't you think Matteo could have done more last time?
Yeah, I think so, because like Matteo had a lot, but do you think he wanted to preserve them for the turn after? Because this is so weird, because he could have. I think he had a move, but.
Like, I feel like he played it pseudo-safe just because he was, okay, I have Imperial Order, but I don't feel like you should play that way.
He could have done more. I think he was safe just because he had Imperial Order, so he just decided to pass without making any further move.
I think that's a wrong way to play, because, like, usually what you should do is, can I do the best with my cards? Sure. I have the Imperial Order on top, but you shouldn't be like, okay, I have Imperial Order, then let's do a worse play. You should always like try and get the best out of your cards, and I don't feel like that's what Matteo has done. And now he's still in a little bit of a trouble because the Imperial Order shuts down his own Tiger.
Yeah.
Although I gotta say he's still in a comfortable spot because of the symbol. Let's see what will happen though. Gonna be a close one.
Yeah, so let's see what Matteo now picks up, but as we were saying before, like, the Imperial Order counted a lot, and Simon really needs to find a way to get rid of it the turn after. So he has a Ray left in the deck within the 3 Ash Blossoms, so not that many, but Matteo now can combo off without any problems, so nothing that Simon can do so far.
Yeah, and the really good thing about Lunalight comes up here. Not only it is a consistent combo deck, but a deck that leaves a lot of resources in the graveyard for next turn. And unless an Abyss Dweller comes down from the opponent, you usually have the Merton Engrave, maybe a Perfume, some Orcust cards, which means you're at least 2 or 3 layers of summons, and that's what's gonna happen here.
Why do you think most of the players decided to rely on Lunalight deck rather than the Orcust? We have seen that more Orcust player on the top rather than the Lunalight.
Yeah, I think it is a decision mostly based on, do you rather have a better engine, or do you want more spaces that you can use for like Anthrops and back removal? And I think it really come down to that, because
because it's something we have seen in the last weeks. Lunalight was not that popular in the last few weeks, like won a lot of regionals, and it was one of those decks being played by the top players, let's say.
yeah, and it's definitely different from the one that allowed Rafael to win back in Chicago, but still the deck core is at least the same, so you do not see fusions often here, but maybe one of our Lunalight will surprise.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's game 1, so Simon has seen enough, and Matteo, thanks to the Imperial Order, takes the game. You can see Simon looking at the camera and just like shaking his head, having flashbacks once more.
Yeah, so, no surprise, as we were saying before, the Imperial Order was huge, and let's see what now Simon can do. I mean, like, he's in this situation a lot of times, but yeah, the Imperial Order caused it a lot of troubles. But let's see now at the side decks. Let's
take a
look.
Do you think after game 1 he's gonna go first again, or is he gonna change his strategy?
Looking at his side deck, I think Simon play tested a lot for this event, and he's not playing Nibiru, so I think he knows that the Lunalight players can play around it. That's why he's not playing it even in the side or in the side deck.
Yeah, and, I gotta say that, like, even though Lunalight was known before the event, it is also a very complicated deck. We saw a player as good as Mirko Zanelli yesterday using the deck, but not really being able to like play it to perfection, we can say.
Yeah, I mean, you really need to practice with it, because it's one of those decks, if you don't practice it a lot, although Mirko is a really huge experienced player, you can have problems, because if you make a mistakes, you're done. And yeah, I mean, like, well played by Matteo. I mean, there was nothing that Simon could do.
Absolutely, but I feel like Simon, like from the way his mindset work, and I'm sure we can ask him later, he probably prepared for what the majority of players is going to use. And Lunalight is not what the majority is going to use.
I think Simon did like a huge deal, because like he played everything for the other matchups, and maybe he said, okay, against Lunalight, I have a chance if I win the dice roll. It was not this case, because Matteo hard drew the Imperial Order. Looking at the side deck, Simon has not that much going on, while Matteo, I think, is prepared for these matchups. He has the Red Reboot or even the Cosmic Cyclones.
It's going to be a close one. I feel like this game could go to Simon, because he's maining the there can only be one, and he's siding summon limits as well, so a lot of traps. But although siding Red Reboot against Sky Striker wouldn't be the first thing that comes to your mind, if Matteo is smart enough and realizes Simon's strategy, then maybe the Red Reboot could win him the game, and we could see a fast one here. We will talk to to side deck from Matteo later on, I feel like, but with a spoiler for everyone watching, I feel like if we do see a game 3, Matteo is going to be favored just because of his deck building choice.
So let's see now what it comes, and it's really super important that someone drew like there can cards like there can only be one or the summon limits.
So nice handshake. Let's take a look. I see an engage, which is definitely better than what he was going for last round.
Okay,
Ooh,
the last card is a
that's
summon
nice
line, which is pretty good, and Simon Zen is looking quite good because also he has the reinforcement of the army and the Hornet drones. So
not much more you can wish for, really. As long as you have any engine going and traps, it's pretty good. Does Matteo have any responses? So he doesn't play Twin Twister at all, which doesn't that surprise you a little?
Yeah, it surprised me because like I think Matteo was really prepared against those kind of decks like True Draco, Sub-Terror and Alter guys, but it surprised me a lot that he's playing the Red Reboot instead of the Twin Twisters. I mean, I would have played Twin Twister if I were him just because he's more generic and he's good against a lot of matchups. But in this moment particularly, he will need a Red Reboot anyway. So
yeah. I mean, maybe there is a consideration where, for everyone forgetting, Solemn Judgment came back to free. And it's possible that all of the trap decks are just using it. And then Twin Twister is a -1 against that, while all of the other cards are not.
Yeah, I think, as we were saying before, I think Matteo was really scared more like against decks like True Draco, Altergeist, Sub-Terror, those rock decks that can cause a lot of problems. And maybe he feels more comfortable playing against Mirror Matches, Orcust, and Sky Striker.
Could be the case. They're gonna just wait for some clarification here, and let's once more take a look at what could go on here. What do you think he's gonna go for? Let's multi-roll probably?
I think Simon is gonna maybe go for multi-roll and he can get rid of the Metal for Fisherman. Maybe R0 could be a good choice also. If Simon wants to, he wants to preserve and he wants to make a conservative play, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, it's kind of a greedier play, I would say, but maybe considering what he saw in game 1, he needs to get greedy because he didn't have much.
Yeah, and he pays off.
Wow.
Okay, and he pays off. Yeah,
that gotta feel nice, and yeah, the greed sometimes pays off, and this is gonna literally just turn from a very good hand to
huge hand. This is gonna be a huge hand for Simon because he can now search for multi-roll if he wants to. He can special summon the Ray. And then in the end phase, you can have 2 negations plus the summon limit.
Yeah,
it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be
this
huge.
hand is incredible, and just by the nature of the format, we saw a lot less of evenly matched because it's not really good against the Orcust since they can negate it.
Yeah,
and
what you really want to do now is to coming off anyway before the battle phase. So that's maybe why Matteo is playing the Red Reboot. Yeah, I mean, heavily match has disappeared so far in these days.
Such an opening, I feel like only loses to evenly matched really. So impressive start here from Simon, and
yeah, this is what Simon needed, and nothing that Matteo can do, and this is gonna be huge for Simon because he's gonna now search for the Widow Anchor if he wants to, and then in the end phase he's gonna have a lot of cards.
At least something that's good for Matteo, I feel like, is the time, because we are still not even half the 40 minutes into the match, and we all know how frustrating sometimes it can be to be playing against Sky Striker when there is not much time. Here, Matteo really isn't pushed to do some. He can totally play and still have time.
Yeah,
he has
plenty of time. He has plenty of time. He can see how this game go, and he can decide if he wants to scoop or to see how things go. But anyway, this is looking really good for Simon.
Is there really anything else he needs to draw with this, or I mean,
I don't think so.
How greedy can you be?
I don't think so. This is going to be quite huge. I mean, maybe an Ash Blossom just to be... Okay.
Oh, man, there can only... Yeah, sure, Simon. Sorry. Sorry for not thinking about that. My last question about this turn is, are you? I mean, you should be happy enough with this. Do you ever get greedy and use the multi-roll Shizuku combo, losing to an ogre? I think you probably don't need to.
I don't think Simon will do. I mean, he has a lot of cards and a lot of resources. I will
Yeah.
not do that if I were Simon.
And I think he also has a lot of cards to set regardless. So we'll see. Maybe he feels like he needs even one more. And yeah, this is incredible. So
Yeah, he was greedy. Let's see if he's greedy another time.
there's only that much.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe he is.
Yeah.
He's
Okay,
gonna get
yeah.
as greedy as possible with the Widow Anchor,
Okay.
and he is. Wow, Simon just not caring anymore at this point. He's like, I have to go all in, and I'm not winning otherwise. Paying off. So can Matteo top deck anything? Can save him?
Yeah, the area 0 causes everything. So
Yeah. Red Reboot is probably where you start to go for, because then you
Yeah.
only have to face 2 interruptions from Simon.
yeah, one card we can start at, it could be the Red Reboot. Let's see if Matteo has any, or no, he doesn't
picks
have.
it up, which means that the draw from the dangers are gonna be very important.
Yeah, this is gonna be quite relevant because if Matteo doesn't draw anything good,
It's tough.
yeah, it's gonna be impossible for him to get rid of there. There can only be one in the summon limit.
Yeah, because there can only be one is a very interesting trap card in a way that even when you go second, you can use it very well. But summon limit is just not able to be played against. So like,
Yeah, there's nothing that you can do against that, and you can play around that there can only be one with this deck because like you have different types, so you can go with Phoenix and you have multiple choices, but with the summon limit there's nothing that you can do. So let's see if Matteo can come up with something.
Well played by him, because by going for Emerald Bird, he not only has the danger, but one more draw to fish for his counteractive
Red
cards.
Reboot or
Yeah.
the Cosmic Cyclone as well.
Let's see if he can find anything. This reminds me a lot of the Blade, the back in Zodiac format. Like both searchable by tanky, both discarding a card to get one, and getting flashbacks from that. I got lucky that time. I don't think Matteo did as much, but yeah. He did not, so it's gonna be, I think, almost impossible, because the danger is the only card that can save him at this point, and if Simon just flips the summon limit there, Red Reboot can
do nothing. Yeah. So let's see if Matteo
understands the situation. I guess. Yeah.
This is gonna be quite complicated for him, and I don't think Matteo is thinking about that Simon. He can maybe play the summon limit. I mean, it's one of those cards that we have not seen that much this period, and it's one of those cards that Sky Striker don't really play, because as you were saying before, I mean, the Sky Striker play usually play on there can only be one. Yeah. So maybe Matteo didn't understand that, and that summon limit will cost him the game.
To be fair, he didn't really have much of a choice. So the only thing that could be very costly is if he goes for the second summon before the danger, because then you can't even go for the danger. And let's see.
Yeah, really needs to draw something out of that danger. Let's see if he
here
decides to go for it.
It is probably as simple as, does Matteo think about the summon limit and tries to danger first? If he doesn't, his turn is gonna be over. And I think something really cool happened to one of our friends yesterday talking about summon limit. Do you want to tell everyone watching the ruling that not really common?
So if you actually activate the Tiger effect, even though you don't resolve it, is it considered as you have summoned it? So basically you cannot activate Tiger again, and that's how he lost yesterday. I mean, this is
because basically summon limit, of course, for anyone says that you can only summon twice a turn. But if you try to activate a card that says summon and you're not able to, for example, if negated by Call by the Grave or Imperial Order, the attempt to summon still counts toward them. And that means that you can't even summon anymore.
Yeah,
so
this is huge. And if you don't know that, I mean, it's one of those rulings that if you don't know that, it can cost you the game. And
for
that's
example,
what happened.
here Simon does not. Ooh,
Yeah.
the danger gets knifed. But
hit the Tsuchinoko. Yeah.
if Simon knew that, he could have done it.
Yeah, he could have activated the summon limit. It's one
There is
those-
a slight misplay here from Simon.
Yeah, slight misplay, but as we were saying before, it's not that known. And if you don't know that, you can lose the game. So let Simon
Yeah, he's
decided
not
to
going for summon limit even. That's a
Let's-
little strange.
Yeah, this is weird.
I mean, he's probably getting greedy here, and I don't totally understand it, but he's probably just like forcing his opponent to use more
yeah,
cards.
to use more resources as much. And now if I were Simon, I mean, I would chain maybe the summon limit
Yeah,
and
you
keep
don't
the Widow
even-
Anchor.
Exactly, I was thinking the same. You don't even have to negate this. Because like if you flip the summon limit, then the Jackalope can't resolve, the
Yeah.
Phoenix stays there, so...
There's nothing Matteo could do anyway. So if I were Simon, I will keep the Widow Anchor.
Makes sense. It's probably just being super careful around the possible Twin Twister from his opponent.
Okay, he decides to go anyway for the Widow Anchor, but I think he will change to the Widow Anchor the summon limit now. Oh no, okay, the shorthand.
Yeah, I think it's probably correct, just because if I were Simon, I would expect Twin Twister more than other removal. And if Matteo is a Twin Twister and you just chain the summon limit, then Matteo is fine with it. He lets it resolve, and then he Twin Twisters. And if he eats the Widow Anchor, you just lost the game. So this is pretty much the end of Matteo's turn.
Yeah, not that much that Matteo can do right now. Let's see if now Simon decides to flip the summon limit. Yes, it does. And I think Matteo is gonna scoop as soon as possible.
I mean, he probably... Yeah, he just picks up his cards. Maybe he was thinking about it. And I think if he wasn't playing against Sky Striker in particular, but like maybe Subterror or Altergeist, he wouldn't have picked up his cards. But you really don't want to go into game 3 when time is closed, especially in Top Cut, because for everyone watching, you do have different time rules for the Top Cut. So just like during the Swiss rounds, when time is called, you go to the end of the phase. But if life points are still the same, you go turn by turn until someone is declared the winner. So it is a little different. And especially another rule is that you can go into a game 3 if you're tied in time. So you really don't want to do that.
Yeah. And this is going to be quite relevant. I mean, Matteo has plenty of time. And if he can combo off like with a couple of minutes, if Simon doesn't have any response, it's going to be good for him. But again, as we were saying before, do you think Simon really can win this one going second?
I think it's tough because we kind of spoiled it for you guys. But if we were ever getting to a game 3 with Matteo for the first time in the match beginning, the Antrops that Simon is playing outside of Impermanence are pretty much useless against his deck because he's siding Ghost Bell.
Yeah, I mean,
a card that's decent.
Yeah, but not that great.
Yeah.
And also Lancia. I mean, he's okay against the Orcust combo, but against the Lunalight core, doesn't do that much.
Yeah, it doesn't top the entire field, and especially what's most worrying is the Curious combo to go into the Griffin and then get back the Imperial or the Virus.
Yeah.
And Lancia does not interact with that, so...
Yeah, it will not stop Matteo to special summon the Griffon with the Order, so this is going to be quite relevant.
Still.
And maybe he needs to hope, because he has also the mind controls. Do you think Simon will side in the mind controls? I mean, he's
probably.
going second anyway,
he's probably going all in at this point because you just side out the traps and you bring in all the Antrops you can fit, and then he just has like one system down, one mind control, which they are obviously better against the pure version of Orcus, but I mean, they have some merit in this as well.
Something that surprised me is that by the moment that Simon saw that Matteo is not playing the Virus, but the Imperial Order instead, would you keep anyway all the 3 Cyclones?
Probably. I think without a doubt it's probably the reason why Simon even maining Cosmic, and that's why I don't like Matteo's decision. So if you know that the Virus is there, if you're Simon, you're just praying at that point. While if Imperial Order is there, you keep the Cosmic Cyclone, and it's not like they're completely useless, because if they have the Imperial Order, then you have the out. If they don't, they still are going to have like Crescendo or the Babel.
Yeah.
So Cosmic pretty good here. But now we are gonna get to the final game for top 32. Who is gonna take it home? Let's take a look at these hands.
Yeah, as we were saying before, there's not that much going on for Simon.
Oh, a little bit of maybe Matteo let him start.
Oh, really?
I mean, it would really surprise me, so I don't think so. But
yeah, I don't think Matteo would ever let Simon start.
they were asking about it, so let's see. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Seems like Matteo is going first, and I'm pretty sure the only entry in Simon's hand is a Ghost Bell. Not the best at all. It can interact with a few of the Lunalight cars, but usually not enough. Ooh, and great pickup here.
Yeah, I mean, as we were saying before, now Matteo can combo off anyway, although Simon has a Ghost Bell.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Mothman was special somewhat, but I think Matteo is seen in a really better situation.
Yeah, even though
Simon.
to be fair, like his hand didn't seem too great. Like you usually want to get to the other part, and his hand looks like other decks. To be fair,
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it really needs to draw.
he drew a lot of dangers.
Yeah, it really needs to draw something out of that dangerous cards. But I think anyway, he can combo off. It's gonna be quite complicated for Simon.
I mean, it's the good thing about this opening is that you don't go for the usual one, but since the dangers are all different, you just go into Curious and you get the Imperial Order, which is all you want to do in this matchup. So I feel like you can be happy, but like Simon keeps sniping
Nessie
the
was
dangers.
discarded. Yeah.
So it's getting tough. Because now if you have multiples of the same type, it is not that great. And are you surprised at all that he's not just going for the cheek at this point?
Yeah, I mean, maybe Matteo wants to draw something out of these dangerous cards, but I mean, I would have summoned Chic before maybe, and just see if Simon has any response, but he can go also for Azathoth if he wants to.
Yeah, I feel like it depends how greedy you want to be once more, because if you go for the chick, you know that your combos are going to be a lot worse. But yeah, I feel like he finally understands it, which I don't like too much, because nothing changed. He just got unlucky in a way that he got sniped twice, but why not do it first? You're
it doesn't change anything. I mean, I would have summoned it before every danger card, but I mean, it's fine.
Now the big question is, do you go for Azathoth or do you just go Curious? Okay, he's brave enough.
Curious, yeah.
And now let's see, because of course he's gonna send the Imperial Order, but if you do it this way, there are a lot of good cards that you can mill with the Curious.
Yeah.
All of the targets that you're gonna send with the goods, all of the Orcust cards. So did he just go for Perfume instead of Order? I think so, right?
Yeah, I think he said the Perfume instead of Order. This is kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah. But maybe he's gonna get the Order anyway. We don't get to see what is milling. I feel like it was 3 spells.
Yeah, 3 spells. It was 3 spells.
Let's take a look. Nothing special, but now he gets to the Perfume.
So do you think Matteo just wants to combo off and then going with the Orcust combo?
Yeah.
With the Crescendo?
By having sent the Merton already, he can get to a pretty good field, but I'm just wondering, because probably didn't feel like he had enough extenders, because let's remember the Griffin does have a second effect, which is usually the relevant one, of non-linked monster being not able to use their effects. So if you'd only have 4 monsters on the field, you can't just go for the Griffin, because it would negate itself.
Yeah.
So you really don't want to go with that.
Yeah, but what I was thinking was, if you go first with Lunalight, don't you want to have the Imperial Order like the first turn against these kind of decks?
Yeah, absolutely. And this could cost Matteo. So now the Ghost Bell comes down on the Tiger. Or on the Merton, probably on the Merton.
I think on the Merton, yeah.
Because it's just better. But let's see which one is he gonna hit.
They're just asking for clarifications.
Yep. They're just asking if it negates, but it negates the whole effect. Because one thing that's important mentioning is that Ghost Bell compared to the other end shops, or like their sisters, we can say, is the only one that actually negates the activation.
Yeah.
So they were probably just asking if it was a use or a activate effect, and it's a use. So
I think Matteo now will continue with the.
yeah, but where
Orcust
does he even
combo.
go from here?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he has a plan.
I think this is gonna be a very subpar opening, and it's looking like Simon can be pretty happy with his with the situation overall.
Yeah, it could have been worse. Actually, it could have been even worse.
Yep. He's probably now gonna start asking about Curious. It does have a pretty relevant second effect, which is the one you can get back any card from your graveyard, but it needs to be destroyed. So it's not that common that it comes up anymore in this format. So
Yeah, I mean, Simon could have asked for nothing more. I mean, this is a good opening for Simon.
Yeah,
I mean, it's looking good for him.
I feel like if you open a lot of hands with the Lunalight deck against one single Ghost Bell, this is probably in the 10% of like worst opening you can do. Like usually it's not impactful at all. So
Yeah, I mean, Matteo has an okay start. Nothing that special. He could have had the Imperial Order,
Yep.
which could have been huge against the Sky Striker. But anyway, he decided to have, the standard Orcust combo with the Crescendo.
decent opening. Curious on top, just hanging in there. And for anyone wondering, here it is on the screen. And oh, the pickup, not one of the best. A second Ray, you really didn't want to get that. But by having there can only be one in his hand, if he can push through this, then this is gonna get quite complicated for Matteo.
Yeah.
It is all gonna come down to where his Crescendo is gonna be used. What do you think? Where do you hold it?
Yeah, I mean, Matteo really needs to be careful, because if I were Matteo, I would wait Simon to normal summon just before activating it, because like by the moment that as we were saying before, he has to be careful with the time too. So by the moment the Sky Striker takes a while to be played, I think Matteo really needs to keep it for the normal summon and then waiting Simon to waste it. I think Simon is gonna go anyway for the Area 0 plus the Ray, but he wants to draw.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that he decided to go for the draw here.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's searching for one of his Cosmic
maybe
Cyclone.
Yeah.
Impermanence, really not what he was looking for.
Yeah, better than nothing.
Yeah.
I think Simon is gonna go anyway with the Ray and the Area 0.
There's not much he can do, but this is looking tougher now. He needs to pick up something good. If he doesn't get anything, and I mean, Matteo always has the option to negate it, so.
Yeah,
There
this
is
is gonna be
yeah.
complicated for Simon right now, because Matteo has the Crescendo. I think he's gonna go with the
Okay.
Ayare. Yeah, this is the only thing he can do.
Are you surprised at all that he didn't go for the RS0 first? And
Yeah, I mean, maybe Simon knows that if he activated the res effect, maybe Matteo would have negated with the Crescendo. So
yeah.
he knows that he doesn't have that much going on. So maybe he wants to keep it. And I think
I'm not sure I like this though, because at the same time, like if this works out, then you're getting a card out of your hand, and Matteo's still not negating.
he doesn't negate it. So now Simon really needs to find something out of his deck with the Area 0 as well. He does have 2 spells, so he won't get the draw for the engage.
I'm getting slightly confused here, because like from Simon, I didn't like this line just because you get rid of very good cards. And what is Matteo even doing?
I mean, I don't know, because like Matteo could have activated before, and I don't know, what is he waiting for? Would you activate it on another engage if he has 3 spells in grave?
I mean, sure enough, and something that I'm concerned about is also time at this point. There are less than 2 minutes remaining, and Simon doesn't have that many plays at his disposal, but
yeah, now he really needs to be greedy again and find something out of his deck, and he can't get rid of the Kagari.
Yeah,
because otherwise he will be in trouble.
And I feel like that's what's happening. Now they're getting just some clarification about the searches. overall, what I was saying is there were different lines from both players. One from Simon was to just try and force the crescendo before, but maybe he prioritized getting the 1500 damage in.
Yeah, I think Simon played well because anyway, he knows that he has to play around with the time. But on the other hand, Matteo, I think he should have activated the crescendo before because right now it can cause you a lot of problems. So let's see what now Simon can do.
Yeah, the
with
thing
the
is,
R0.
if your opponent doesn't stop you there with the crescendo, then you probably want to prioritize getting 1500 damage.
Yeah.
Just because if you have enough time, then there is a chance the turn ends in time. Of course, now the timer you're seeing is not correct. There were still about 2 minutes left, and it froze for us because there is being a judge call at the table right now. But yeah, in general, there were a lot of decisions. Now I think they can continue to play, but once more,
Yeah, I was really thinking why Matteo kept the crescendo because right now, let's see if Simon decides to activate the R0 or not. No, he's just going in the end phase, and Matteo does not activate again the crescendo. So
once more, everyone watching, do not panic. This is not the end of the match. There are still sometimes it's
a couple of minutes.
About 1 minute and 30 seconds left in the round. So Simon is not going to win in this end phase. Matteo has about a minute now to try and push for some damage, and I think they should also adjust it.
Yeah, because Matteo lost 1500 for Ayate's attack.
We're going to fix the life points real soon for you guys. And
well played by Simon anyway, who set the impermanence on the crescendos line. And
yeah. And now there can only be one is flipped, and I feel like Matteo has to play this super fast.
super fast, because otherwise it will be it. I mean,
it doesn't seem like it's super easy to play around this, and the impermanent set from Simon maybe can win him the game. Can Matteo play fast enough to find a solution here?
Yeah, maybe the crescendo cost Matteo the game.
Okay, he entered the battle phase though,
and he has the
and
Widow
the
Anchor.
Widow Anchor is flipped.
Yeah, right now there's not that much that Matteo can do because he knows that.
He's shaking his head right now.
He's not sitting in a good spot, and now it's really looking good for Simon because he has also 3 spells in grave, and I think he's under control of the situation. Yeah,
it's really a train of emotions hitting right now. Yeah, the crescendo is gonna be flipped, but in the same zone, and he picks up his card. Wow,
what a match!
Simon takes it. Let's go back to us for the post-match discussion. Wow, incredible!
What a match!
Wow.
It was huge.
I mean, every time we get Simon on stage, something crazy happens. Yeah, he's a guaranteed of a good match, and wow, what a train! Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we thought that Matteo could have won quite easily, but again, Simon was really able to come back. It was really quite a back and forth. I mean,
yeah, I think it was one of the best matches of the weekend by far. Like in game 1, we really saw like a decent opening from Simon, nothing outstanding. He really played it well though by bluffing with his set cards. But in the end, Matteo, once more, Simon, worst enemy and fear, out-drawn Imperial Order, won the game for Matteo.
Yeah, Simon was brave enough in game 2, as we have seen, and he paid off. And
yeah, he was a little bit more greedy. He tried, but in the end, his side decks really put in work. He had both Summon Limit and There Can Only Be One really shutting down.
Yeah, and
Matteo.
the Ghost Bell was really good in that spot. So
yeah, I mean,
he's now advancing the top 16 and he's really looking good for it. So Sky Striker.
Yeah, Sky Striker, your prediction won against
hopefully.
mine. So yeah, hopefully we'll keep on carrying on. But yeah, just as you said, a very, very good match. Both players, as we said, accomplished multiple top cuts, multiple good results. But for Matteo, he still got some points. Unfortunately, he will need to try harder in next events.
Yeah.
Simon still looking for his win.
Yeah, Simon's still looking good, and maybe he will have another chance this time. So
Yeah.
Maybe this time. Who knows?
Let's figure it out lately. All of our matches for top 32 are over though, so we don't want to keep you guys waiting too much on this. It was a fantastic match, and I don't have much to say. Simon, again, congratulations to you. For everyone wondering, as JJ was doing in the intro, he's a player that probably played in the game for like 10 years, back and forth throughout, but still missing his breakout performance. That one W, we can say, that a lot of players are missing. But now he's with JJ, so let's hear it from the man. Guys, keep watching and let's go to the interview.
Well, welcome everybody to live coverage of YCS Ghent. Thank you guys for tuning on in. Thanks for stopping by. We are with the winner of Top 32, Simon He. How are you feeling, man? That was an intense match.
That was an intense match. That was like really, really close. I feel good right now. I'm just trying to still gather my thoughts, but yeah, I'm pleased.
Okay, that's pretty cool, man. Like, you know, we're going to be getting 4 more matches after this. Do you think you can carry this? Do you think this might be the run?
Oh, I hope so. I don't want to jinx anything by saying anything. Ask me later. Ask me later. Ask me in a couple of hours.
All right, we still have 4 more matches to go. We don't want to keep the players waiting. On to more coverage after this.